time ever will be early. And isn't that cool to be early instead of late? Wow, what's that like?
Yeah,
I feel.
But don't worry, I brought my donuts.
You want to know something? That's some bittersweet news. I was picking up the books from the auction. You know, I'd already boxed them up because while I was showing you, I just put them in a box. And the last two things that were sitting on the floor that didn't sell was this awesome Jack Stanley and Jack Kirby Silver Surfer and the Chris Claremont Savage Land story. Like, of the two things that didn't sell that would just be awesome, you know. So I'm thinking, wow, these are going to find a good home on the shelf.
I was gonna say, now do reviews of them.
Yeah, why not, right? Actually make videos, which is look, I apologize for the I mean, obviously I with the other channel also, I haven't been doing a lot of videos anyway, but really I just got hit by this thing, and all on this thing being my aunt dying, it's really it has been like that. Like I was telling you, I can hear myself.
I don't have the volume up.
I did that Alice Cooper video, and this is writing its own joke, so hit me, guys, go on ahead. But I was doing the Alice Cooper video, and about halfway through I was like, what the f am I doing? Like, it was like, when my aunt's in a coma, I shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. This is my job, I shouldn't be doing it. So that really hit, and I'm thinking, no, let's do something here. Let's talk, let's get emotional, let's get into this, and let's actually get out of the funk, and or maybe turn all of this energy here into rage against somebody else. Soft food, that's awesome. Yeah, for those who don't know, I got this thing about eating noises, but donuts are, yeah. That's why I say America's movie snacks, pretzel bites. Buy those. The popcorn. It's loud.
But you can hear the salt come off there inside the plastic container. I know that.
Well, that's a little... It's not like that, dude. I watched a freaking Quiet Place, and some guys up there like the freaking Tasmanian devil actually making the damn noise. You're doing it on purpose. I even told Gail, he's doing that shit on purpose. I'm going to go talk to him. She's like, no, just go to the manager. That's what you need to do. So, yeah. And by the way, it's happened right there, and Jay's talking about it. The 28th, which we are now on, is Jack Kirby's birthday. Just so happens it's Maranya's birthday.
So I'm having a birthday.
There you go. That's a bit more important. So happy birthday to Maranya. It's her 25th. I am not guessing any higher. I never have, never will. But there you go. And yeah, and thank you for everything you do for the channel. I was obviously, nope, this was not planned. So if you guys have something to talk about, just throw it out there. But of course, in order to get any of these things started up, we always have to find something to talk about. And I found an article.
Isn't there a song that says, let's give them something to talk about?
No, because I am not gay. All right.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, we're not allowed to make those kind of jokes anymore.
Yeah, and that's also a lie, too.
Sorry. That is true. That is very, very true. You pay me enough money, I'm anything. I claim $29.95 plus international shipping. Let's see. What was it? It was this. This is what I found. I haven't read this article. I was literally looking for anything that might actually be interesting, and I found this title. Comic Twitter has created a fandom. What the with the advertisement? Seriously? In order to read this, you have to undo your ad block, and then we're going to put so many fucking ads in front of you, you can't even read it anyway. Dear Lord in heaven. All right, so it's titled Comics Twitter has created a fandom that doesn't understand comics. Okay, I have a feeling. I honestly, I put up a thing says anybody streaming tonight, because really I was thinking I wanted to talk without the responsibility, you know, that kind of thing. But then it's like, okay, what should we talk about? I found this. I haven't read it, but it's almost a guarantee that the fandom that doesn't understand comics is us. I'm thinking this. I'm thinking
this is true. I talk to people all the time. I'm in a Discord group for comics, but there's people who don't even read the comics, but they they may have read the new stuff, but they don't know the old stuff. They're like, well, we're all comic experts. It's like, you know, if you've never seen Harley Quinn drawn by anybody than Riley Rossmo.
Look, yeah, I know, right? Here's the thing. I will say this on either side. If you're complaining about how bad Marvel comics or DC comics are, and you're not reading them, you suck. You suck. I'm sorry, but especially if you've got a YouTube channel and you're pulling this shit off like you actually know. By the way, I just realized I'm describing myself.
Yeah, especially the guys who don't even show the physical books. You're talking about them.
But the thing is if you don't have a working idea, if you haven't been reading the books, and yes, I have been reading some, but we know which ones are the good ones. Anywho, on either side, you're not good. You're not good at your job if you're going to be talking about this kind of stuff. All right, let's see what it says here. Oh, and by the way, hello to MARANYA and Aloise and Jay Lucen in the chat. We got Tehillium today as well, and Cartoons, Comics, and Studios. Do you have Cartoons, Comics on your Discord? You can send a link.
Sure.
Might as well let him in on this. He's been asking a couple of times, and
you're a gatekeeper. I didn't know that.
I am a gatekeeper of my own channel. Yes, I am. I fully admit that. All right, so it says comics are big business nowadays. From manga to superheroes, comics are a staple of pop culture for millions. Even before getting into things like Marvel movies, people love various characters and creators of comics, and they celebrate their fandom on social media. First of all, I'm going to say bullshit on that. I mean, straight out the gate, you're wrong. Just because we have, well, okay, no, maybe it's a big business, but it's a declining business. If you take away manga or whatever you kids are saying nowadays, then comics, no. Also, these days, more people are getting into comics because of the movies than the movies because of the comics. This isn't 1989 anymore. This isn't the 90s where comics are actually big business. And, oh, yeah, I love that Spawn comic. Let me go see this movie. I want to watch the shittiest CGI ever created known to man. It really is bad. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
It's so bad that they paid homage to it with when he's sitting on the gargoyle, the cape's floating. That's McFarlane cape in that.
Yeah, it really is. But the CG in Spawn is beyond horrible. It really is. Let's see. Services like Twitter, Instagram have become an essential part of the comic book industry, allowing fans and creators to associate with each other and creating a place where new fans can learn about. This is where I have a problem when if I write a script, I would never put something there in that, because that's a line that somebody went, well, we need you could write an article, we need 1,500 words, and the guy was like, okay, 1497, 1490. God, I need 2 more, and then he figures out a line that nobody needs. We know what the social media does, so you don't need that line. I'm nitpicking here. So anyway, X, as it is now called, has become the most important advertising tool for comics industry. Companies like DC and Image use the site to get the news about new books out. Excuse me for reading that wrong. A whole ecosystem of fan accounts and podcasts has sprung up around Twitter, where indie creators peddle their wares. Okay, and see, here's where I have a problem. Also, I'm attacking the article rather than the message here, but that line right there is the same as Twitter and Instagram have become an essential part of the comics industry, allowing fans and creators to associate with each other. It's the same thing. Get to the point. That's why I'm always skimming these things rather than reading them. They just, in 2 paragraphs, gave you the same information. However, comics Twitter is often a cesspool of toxicity and bad takes. In fact, the very nature of comic Twitter has been in its downfall, and the fans comic Twitter created have run into some huge problem. The problems, ladies and gentlemen, are bigly. Now, okay, let's have a little Trump debate. I heard him say big league. Yet Twitter and all the Democrat news channels went off and said he said bigly. What do you think? Is it big league or bigly? I heard big league.
Think there's a lot of idiots in the world, and they're gonna
yeah. Oh shit! You know what I realized? I didn't share this out. So whoops.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Cartoon Comics. I didn't send it to you on Discord. I sent it on Twitter. Go check your.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Is he not in the group? We should add him to the group.
In the actual sports ball.
Yeah.
Be warned, anybody, if we add you to the sports ball, you have to deal with Jay and his constant posting.
The man, he is a meme poster. He really is. But you know what? He's posting some cool shit. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. All righty. Where did I leave off here? Oh, by the way, let me check this. If people are celebrating comics on social media, they're posting pages from certain sites and gushing how the comics are stunning and brave for checking all of the check boxes. MARANYA said in exactly that voice.
That's the other thing too. There's a lot of people who are either upset with DC or they do like it, but they're not buying the books. Or they're the ones that like, oh, we love this current Harley Quinn stuff. They're reading it on the pirate sites. And they're leaving the comments on there.
Holy shit! What's that like?
I admit I read my books on digital format because I don't have to worry about rooting the $4 piece of crap I just bought physical print.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I got to admit, I've flown the flag a lot harder now that I found a sale where $4 will get me a formerly $20 book that's on sale at Warehouse.
Or yeah, you said yeah. But I mean, I like going on there just for the comments on. But I mean, I've always been on the pirates, but no. But the thing is that I still buy physical.
Let me put it to you this way, okay? Let's say I buy 10 comics, all right? I buy 10 comic books from the comic shop. I'm gonna be fair. I spent $40, okay? And here's something to show off. Okay, $40. This was 20. All right. I'll be honest about the prices here. Okay. 25, 30, 40. Now you could say, oh wow, you would have gotten 10 books, but I'm sorry, I value these a hell of a lot more than any of the new books and any of the 40. Can you get damn near pre-code Batman with
a nice signature on it too?
Oh yeah, it's this one will do. You know, point being is, ever since I found out I could get these books, I'm very, very uninterested in buying new books.
I can't speak for anybody else, but when it comes to the faded colors, that's some of the reasons I don't want to get it. If the price is reasonable, like. Some of the books aren't like that now.
No. Some of the books just aren't like that. But point being is I could get these gorgeous older back issues for the same amount, or even less sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not interested in spending a lot of money on the new books.
I'm just saying that's why some of those faded covers, the Batman ones, they look cool, but they're so faded.
Yeah,
because it's. The only part I'm going to see it is the front cover when it's in the bag,
Right. I understand that. That's why I've actually, with some of those, I found more success on. Dude, whatever you're doing to your mic,
sorry.
You need to turn down the volume while you're doing that, man.
Oh, sorry.
But anyway, welcome to Cartoons and Comics, and we'll get back to that in just a little bit. Let's see. I shared it on X for you. Thank you, MARANYA. Yeah, I just popped that up. So, and by the way, I don't know who I went to a Comic-Con, and that's where I got the thumbnail here. I was like, what the hell do I use as a thumbnail? I didn't make a thumbnail. Okay, well, there you go. And VENKMAN recommended I do that. So, okay.
Well, I didn't say Comic-Con. I just said as I said, a hot girl. That's
no. Yeah, there you go. Well,
it could be anything. It could be, it could be.
Why not just?
Why not just Diane Keaton or Diane Lane?
Diane Keaton or Diane. Because a cosplayer makes sense since we're talking about comic book fandom, I guess.
Well, screw it. But if that's the case, then you just throw Michelle Pfeiffer out there.
Oh, with
at least we don't. At least only Zach will watch, but everyone else will.
Let's go. I'm definitely veering off. And hello to Cartoons and Comics here. Let's see. There are several important layers to comic Twitter. The article goes on to say, who's this by? This is by a dude or a lady named David Harth. David Harth. Okay. There are several important layers to comic Twitter, and understanding its structure is integral to seeing where the fandom has gone wrong. At the top of the hierarchy are the official accounts of various companies. They release information on new books, from press releases to lists of books coming out for the week. Of course, I don't think we have any problem with that. Marvel and DC saying, hey, Superman number whatever is out today. That's what we want to hear, you know. They'll hype up current story arcs, link to comic news sites and reviews and things of that nature. Now, also, you got to understand that people are free to go, hey, look, I think you're going into you're just going in the wrong direction with your book here. Like Spider-Man has been pleasing, I think, 0% of fans. So why not? And of course, you're not going to get people who are going to say it nicely either. So, but don't they have the right to speak out? Look, you're treating our characters wrong. So anyway, it says on the next tier are the comic news sites and magazines that talk about the industry. They basically do the same thing as company accounts, but they endeavor to cover big and small companies. Okay, so this person is automatically saying there's a hierarchy. Okay, so the Marvel and DC, IDW, whatever, they're at the top of the list. When it comes to comic book Twitter, they're the most important. And then comes CBR and Bleeding Cool, or anybody who dares to call themselves a comic book news site. And I think we all agree that Bleeding freaking Cool has stopped being a comic book news site a long time ago.
They're all the same person, though. They're all sister sites.
Yeah. And we have also heard how CBR has become a content farm. And they really are. There's like 50 or 60 articles a day. If they gave a shit about that, what they were saying, they would let it sit. You know, maybe they would put 3, 4, 5 articles out a day. Even one an hour would be better.
I haven't been on IGN in like a hot minute, but I guarantee they probably have a bunch of comic book stuff on there now.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I was trying to get some sleep, and you guys are just so loud.
Yep, we're trying. I wanted to be a little more subtle than going, Eric, wake up, wake up, come on.
You know what it was? He saw me eating a donut. He's like, damn it, I want.
That's it. I want a donut.
No, I found some new cookies at Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're awesome. They're like almost as good as donuts.
We went to Golden Corral and it messed up our, like, it's Golden Corral. That shit, like, I eat hot Thai food and my stomach is okay. I went to Golden Corral and had roast beef and potatoes with a lot of gravy, and my stomach was messed up.
I had a large friend that used to go to Golden Corral, and when they saw him coming, I think they were weighing the options. Can we board the place up before he gets to the door?
Okay.
But it's Golden
you
Corral.
You go home now. You be here for an hour.
No. That's the Golden Corral, not the Thai place you were talking about.
Did you ever hear the joke? There was this comedian. He died a little bit ago. He was really fat, and he says, whenever I go towards a Chinese buffet, they're like, no, you go home now. Yes. And he's like, he says, I was there once, and they started yelling at me, you go home now. You be here for an hour. You go home.
Yeah, this guy, and I won't derail any longer. He worked for us, but before we hired him, he worked at our distributor where we used to go get our CDs. And at some point, he had a chair that rolled, and he got these pinchers where he could roll his chair around and use the pinchers to grab things off of higher shelves. And I'm wondering, at what point do you just make the decision to throw in the towel for this lifetime?
Yeah.
Instead of getting up and walking. Now, he would be 64 now, but he didn't make it to 60. And so I was wondering, I said, like, but it's seriously, because you've given up once you go out and buy, pinchers to, So you can wheel around instead of walk around.
Okay, I can't. Okay, they muted themselves. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I know he's welcome in the conversation.
Sorry, I was fixing my mic.
Yeah, you can remember that mute yourself because you may not hear it, but we hear it's like
Yep.
It's like looking at me.
Eric is saying very important things.
Yes, very important things.
Bet you wish I'd gone to bed now, don't you?
Golden Corral and talking about his friend that died.
You know what? I said it at the beginning of this show. We're going to talk about whatever the hell. I've got this article because I thought it would be interesting, and so far, it's lining up to be exactly what I thought. Remember where we left off, ladies and gentlemen. This douchebag of a writer is saying, okay, the comic shops, the comic producers are most important, and then freaking CBR and all that is the second. Yeah. And of course, he's writing this article for CBR. Yeah. So there you go. Let's just continue.
He says after
it was the AI who wrote this thing. Would make sense because maybe he's trying to get out of the human writers.
It could be. What were you saying there, Venk?
At the very end, he says, after the creators come the influence, the various YouTubers, podcasters, take
Dude, I'm getting there.
I'm trying to get the article moving here, Gabriel.
Okay, we're getting on there. On the next tier, the comic news sites, blah, blah, blah. They basically do the same thing, yada, yada, yada. Then there are the creators who will do everything they can to get their work out there while also responding to readers and fans. After the creators come the influencers, the various YouTubers, podcasts, TikTokers, and writers who talk about stories, characters, and industry. Finally, there are the fans. The people comment, hey, I'm above the fans. I thought I was one of them.
You know, though, he's right, though. There is a hierarchy. It means they don't give a shit about us.
Well, apparently. Yeah, apparently just by thinking that my opinion is valuable, okay, apparently just by thinking my opinion was valuable, they placed me above. I appreciate that. Yeah. Like how many subs and how many viewers do you have to have before you're just a fan?
I remember getting a comment because on one of our top fives or I didn't have Berserker, like the last issue, as like, oh, what do you mean it's not your number one book of the week? It's like, 238 subs in the comment section. I'm like, dude. And then I look at his, oh, you have 2,000, but wait, you just post clips that aren't yours.
Yeah, I think
it's like
the big thing that they're missing here is that for the most part, I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there being paid for it, but for the most part, YouTubers, podcasters, TikTokers are fans. That's why we started this, is because holy shit. I mean, literally, that's how we started Comicsgate. Can you freaking believe what they're doing to the comic book industry now? Was the big question that was surrounding the creation of Comicsgate. Not fucking, what's his name? What is his name anymore?
EVS.
Thank you, EVS. It not his part, because he was, hey, there's a fan base here, let me take over. But seriously, when it was created, it was done because, oh, well, the comic industry is going in the wrong direction. Let's talk about that. They are fans. Now, I don't know about channels like Variant, or I'm very very suspicious about Rob. What's his name?
Liefeld?
No, the guy who does the readings. Like, he does the readings, but he'll do the entire freaking story. Big deep voice.
Comics
Explain. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I have my feelings that they're probably receiving $1 or $2, because he tends to go along with whatever the Marvel message is. So I don't know. But finally, there are fans, the people commenting on and reading everything, interacting, arguing. Now, obviously, any fandom can get pretty toxic. And that is true. The various trolls who make everyone's life difficult on social media, many of whom actually attack comic creators on a regular basis, are mainstays of Twitter. For example, Nightwing writer Tom Taylor gets more than his share of abuse. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop right here. Look, everybody, if you put your opinion out on YouTube, if you put your opinion out on Twitter, you're going to get people telling you you're full of shit, or that you should die, you know, or the many ways in which one wants either you or them to your mother. You get all of that kind of stuff over and over and over. But here's the thing. Now, I don't know. Maybe Tom Taylor is getting a whole bunch, but the point is he fucked up Nightwing. He fucked up John Kent. And not just by making him gay. Like I said, and I've said this many times, we did not know John Kent's sexuality. He's an open book. But he fucked up John Kent by making him a dumbass. That's how it did. And then he made him Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor has admitted to putting his own politics into his comic book characters now. So that is fucking up. So he deserves a certain amount of criticism. Go on ahead. And also, Eric, it looks like you have something.
I can't remember if it was Tom King or Tom Taylor, the whole Alan Scott thing.
Neither.
You sure? Because I don't want to talk about trying to get God chose his thing. If I get to do a Alan Scott thing, I'm going to make him gay.
That was a mandate for one of the multiverse versions of Alan Scott, but in that the time between that and today, now that whether this pisses anybody off, I really don't care. The most important thing for comics now is advancing the LBGT, however, whatever it is today, agenda. So all Alan Scotts in every corner of the multiverse is now gay. But it wasn't a Tom that did that. I don't remember who it was, but I don't think either Tom was working for DC when that happened.
I just remember the interview, and one of them, either Tom King or was talking about just making everything more woke, put more politics in it.
But as for John Kent not knowing his sexuality, I believe Bendis gave him a girlfriend in Legion, didn't he? Oh, or he was interested in somebody.
Do you think I've actually cracked open a Bendis? No. I'm going to pull you. No.
Okay, so if a tree falls in an unread forest, did it make? Yeah. But yes, it did. Yeah, but they made him an unlikable prick.
That is Tomasi and Gleason, had him actually having Tom or not Tom, but John flirting with the little girl that was in the book. Really?
Well,
but that girl turned out to be a despotic ruler of a planet who was just using him to get his powers, that's Jurgens doing that story.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking before that in the original Super Sons run.
No, that's I think. Oh, okay, the girl that lived on the farm next to him.
Yeah,
she's the one that turned out to be like a despotic ruler that just looked like a little girl. So
okay. Let's see what's going on. They're talking about
I miss Super Sons.
Yeah, we all do. Mark Wade, Perfect Dream, said to Hilliam, is Elon Musk buys CBR, fires everybody, and gets good writing again. Let's see. Austin is saying, do I even want to know what prompted this impromptu live stream? I went and saw my aunt today. My aunt is in a coma. My aunt will more than likely never get out of that coma. And they gave her, they said it could be any time. They gave her a week, but it could be 2 weeks. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be as I speak right now. I went and saw her today. It was, there's a bit of a catharsis. I want to go back and sit with my uncles and my aunts and enjoy time with the family. And because it was a very good remembrance, but it left me, and you could ask anybody, this last week since I got the news that she's on her way out, I've been down. I really have. And I thought maybe it'd be more cathartic if I got together with friends and we yell at other people, or we talk about something, or we smile and we laugh and we do something along those lines.
If it makes you feel better, we can make fun of you too.
That would be awesome. I'm good so long as it's funny. That's all I care about.
Wow.
Yeah. We so there you go, gang. I did this when I first done when I first face revealed. If you've got a good insult, just make it funny. I would love to hear your insults. I mean, you've got this to work with. Let's hear it.
I don't think anything tops of you talking about screwing yourself off camera during the auction.
Okay. But that's it. I did get to see my aunt. They had her there. She's in a coma. It was basically like watching her sleep. And, I talked to my uncle, and it was, I didn't want to break down, in front of my uncle, because he's been married to her since my entire life. And, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to make sure that I was a bit like I wanted to be a rock in case he needed it, Me and Gail, as soon as I left the hospital, I was exhausted. I was done. But we went out, we had ourselves, like I said, we went to Golden Corral, came home, and woke up, cleaned up, and said, you know what, fuck it, I need to talk. And I just said, okay, let's start. Let's do this. So that's where we are. And I figured, okay, this might be actually fun here. But that's what's going on. Maranya says, oh man, this article is full of outright falsehoods. We're about to get to one of those. I saw that next sentence. Helium is, and Undead Quinn says, I'm sorry to hear that. I've been through it. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate the one thing. I think a lot of people on the left who decided they needed a villain for some reason, and they decided the villain was people who said, my thoughts and prayers are with you. And then they started mocking that. They're full of shit. They really are. When people reach out and they say, I'm going to put you in my prayers, I'm very sorry to hear that, and stuff like that, is what they're saying is that they care for you, and they want you to be better. And that makes you feel better. It makes you feel better that even with people like this, we've got a guy in Kentucky, we've got a guy in Wisconsin, I'm in Florida. I do believe that comics is from another planet. I have not yet been sure.
I'm from Brazil.
I told you, he's from the planet Brazil. So, it's really good that around the world you get that kind of camaraderie, and it really helps. So I think that people who say it doesn't is full of shit, and hello to Ahsoka. All right. Tell me, by the way, if this freezes up again, because...
I just want to say I am suffering from a case of narcissism. That's why I'm on another live stream.
No, there you go. Yeah.
Not for you, it's for me.
So, comic Twitter is also home to professional troll class, and for comics, that means Comicsgate. All righty. And this is now, I get it. It's modern stuff, but Comicsgate is made up of former creators angry that they don't work for the big two anymore for a variety of reasons. No, for one fucking reason. Not for a variety of reasons. Everything they might tell you boils down to one fucking reason. And everyone here knows that. Everyone knows what that fucking reason is, too. It's because they don't toe the political line. The messaging, if you've noticed, there was even an article we did a video about, is one-sided. Yeah, Tom Taylor can have all the work he wants because he doesn't think like Chuck Dixon, or as much as, like I said, there's no love lost. Fucking, what's his name again?
Mark Miller?
No, the guy who took over fucking Comicsgate. Ethan Van Sciver. Yeah. It doesn't, that's why. There's not a variety of reasons. They're not leftists. That's the fucking reason. At the very least, can these idiot fucking writers at at CBR or at Bleeding Cool or anywhere get their fucking facts straight? And you know what? While I'm yelling, Bleeding Fool, get your fucking facts straight too. Stop being such a hyperbole machine for our side. If we have the truth on the fucking side, we don't need the fucking hyperbole, and we do. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. Eric, hi. What's up?
No, you derailed my thought. That might, it's wow. Man, that's it's pretty much out. It's pretty much gone. It'll Jen Psaki back.
Okay, so that they don't work for the big two anymore for a variety of reasons, but they usually blame diversity and wokeness. No. Okay, hold on just a fucking second here. Also,
Oh,
they don't blame diversity for them being fired. Go yourself with this shit. Holy crap.
Yeah.
What? Maranya's right. This is just a fucking ball of lies. Once again, no love lost between me and Ethan. But you know what? I know for a fact that that's not the reason he left. And wokeness. They have their own crowdfunding comics and YouTube channels and mobilize their fans, often older readers, who don't like the direction modern comics have taken. That is possibly the most honest thing in this entire article.
But they meant that as a pejorative.
I know, right? He's a douchebag. So anyway, the whole thing here is that, yeah, we were saying, look, we're the ones that buy your freaking product, you morons. And yeah, Tom Brevoort, Siba Sobolski, both of them told me fucking personally that what they were after was this big female audience. And this big female audience is interested in manga. They're not interested in goddamn coffee top. Have you read a fucking manga? They're dynamic. They freaking look awesome. I don't read manga. At least I flipped through enough to know that one punching a villain and then going and sitting down and talking about your feelings isn't what they're fucking about. And that is, I was literally told by those motherfuckers that that's what people want. And that's what they were chasing. But here's the thing. While they're chasing this elusive female audience, they didn't think one second about keeping the audience that was loyal to them, the audience that would pick up every goddamn issue of a comic book, even if it sucked, just because they don't want their Avengers collection to say 400, 401, 402, 408. They want those numbers. They want that filled out comic collection. That's how we were raised. That's how Eric was raised. That's how I was raised in our comic book reading.
Also, if you ever go to resell it, you have a complete run.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I not a fan any longer of Marvel, but I always will have my Captain America collection here because Captain America is what I grew up with, but I don't recognize Captain America anymore. And I think my 31 years reading Captain America, it's what would have value. And if what attract female character is a comic book like Archie Comics. My niece buy an Archie comic style from Brazil, basically is Chico Bento Moço, which is a Brazilian Archie comic style. It's a female comic. It's not like the masculine comic, which is Astronaut Academy, which is basically a rip of My Hero Academy. It's action. The other is romance. Marvel does not do romance. Marvel do crappy comic book. Superhero trying to imitate something like My Hero Academia, but without any of the good writing or the good action and the good dynamics from the manga.
Yeah. Marvel.
Really, hold on, Vank. Eric started before.
I was saying, okay, no. Yeah, mute that bozo. Our host has a saying: "Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it." I know he stole that from somebody else, but that's not the point. A friend of mine did make Little Lotta great again by changing her name to Vampire Lotta and putting her in the costume.
That is by the way, that was a freaking awesome picture.
That was, but I said, I don't think you'd be asking to make her great again after you saw that.
Yeah, that's true. What's up, Venkman?
I was gonna say it comes back to the whole thing. I was conversation I'm having with somebody else earlier today, and it just comes to the point where, I think it was, I was talking to Eric. So we're all trolls. We're bigots if we criticize them, but yet, if they can say whatever the heck they want about us, when it comes to Marvel writer stuff, call us all these names and stuff. It's a stupid economy, or at least a business practice. It's a flawed business practice. Honestly, I never want to see Marvel and DC go under, but I want them to hurt enough to what point where they realize that they need to get their shit together, and they can't just Disney, give us more money. And we're like, nah, goodbye. We're selling something else.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Disney, they're selling off a whole bunch of stuff, and
I wonder why.
I don't think they're going to sell off Marvel and Lucasfilms, but that would be a great way for them to get back on track.
But you imagine though, if all these DC, okay.
Well, so here's the thing that, about this article makes sense when you think about. One of the things about progressivism is you surround yourself by, you put yourself in a hive mind, and you come to believe that you can't believe that everybody doesn't think like you, because the whole idea of progressivism is to form a hive mind. And so, of course, anybody that doesn't think like them, the problem has to be in their set, not in yours. And it kind of makes sense when you look at it like that. Now, these, and some of these people should know better, because Tom Brevoort was around when it was a boys' hobby, and it's sold. But he's sold out. There's no other way around that. But a lot of the people that have risen to prominence in these two companies, they think like I just outlined. And of course they're chasing people that think like them. The problem is they don't spend.
No.
They don't support. But then that's when you realize that the message has become more important than the money.
The people who they're chasing and they're throwing us aside for live in a digital world.
Yeah.
And their digital world, as VENKMAN has pointed out, you don't have to buy your comics.
Mm-hmm. Nope, you don't have to.
Let's see what other people say.
Especially the ones that are reading it. They might be like anywhere from ages 17, 16, or in their 20s. And, well, if they live in an apartment, they can't afford to go and buy comic books. They can, they can barely afford having Netflix or having streaming services.
No, you know why they don't have any money? Because they pay $18 for their McDonald's, having it Ubered or lifted to their door.
That's it. Yeah, that's
I've talked to my daughter about this one. One thing I did say when we got started is I said, we're going to lose this culture war, because there are kids who are 12 years old and they started reading comics in 2013, all new, all better. Even Wonder Woman is like, shut up, man. You don't need to mansplain. So they're going to grow up with this. And by the time they're 20 and they're paying things with their own money, this is going to be the norm to them. I am very happy to admit on one area I was wrong, because they're not buying the comics. This group that they've been chasing has proven many, many times they're not the audience you need to go for. Yeah, we're old. Eric, sorry to say, culturally and as far as the market is concerned, you've aged out. I'm about to age out in 2 years. It's stupid, because we are the ones that are going. You work at a comic shop, I don't know if they give you the books, but you buy new books more than I do even now.
For me, the only entity that's producing content for me at this point is CBS.
Alrighty.
Yeah. For me, I'm doing what you used to do. We've got issues. I'm the point where half the books I'm buying, I probably, if I really thought about it, like, I could just freaking read this online and just review it that way. But there's only a couple books, a handful I buy that are really worth it. A lot of them. You can tell by the way I rate things. I go 5 stars. I don't do that 10-star bullshit.
Yeah.
7.1. Sorry, Frugal.
That's all you need. Horrible, bad, moderate.
Mid
good,
is mid.
awesome.
Mid. Yeah, you get mid. You got it's 3.
Yeah.
Bad,
and
worse,
most books I rate, most books I like are 4. But it fluctuates. Rarely do I get a book where it's a 5. Big Game number 2 was right around a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Marvel or DC. Well, it's Mark Millar, who said, you know what? I could really easily clean. I replied to him in a tweet. I said, send a nemesis, have him kill everybody. Just be like a Punisher. Just
I need to say this, and I am kind of the people they want. I don't read any of the new comic books from Marvel or DC. I buy the Kick-Ass 2 and Kick-Ass 3 recently, and I exchanged with my nephew from 2 manga he has, and he also is trying to buy Kick-Ass 3. I think the indie scene is what is really appealing to the new generation, and he don't care about Marvel or DC. The only character he cares about in Marvel it's Iron Man, and it's because of the movies.
That's
But
actually what
he
Austin
really
is
don't
saying.
like Ironheart.
Austin is saying that the Gen Zers didn't read comics. They were that weren't Calvin and Hobbes. They were watching the movies. That's how they grew up.
Yeah, that's my niece. None of my nieces want to read comics. The one that was, the younger one who is read comics, she's moved on. She likes watching baseball now.
My daughters went from Power Girl and Zatanna to manga but that was when manga was really exploding in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So it goes on to say most comic fans of comic Twitter consider Comicsgate and their ilk poison, and they're much less powerful than the Comicsgaters themselves think they are. I got to tell you, I do think the what is Ethan and his fans and such, I guess Yellow Flash or Umbrella Guy, they're still part of it, but in all honesty, don't really think of them too much. I think they include Gary and the Black Pills, the greatest 50s band name ever. But I think they count them in there as well.
Yeah. I don't really watch a lot of EVS, so I can't really 100% back this up. But I don't think he's going on and be like, yeah, go to Mark Waid on Twitter and tell him he's an asshole. You know who does it? EVS. When he's not blocked.
I don't know it either.
I don't know what we just said.
Yeah, I don't think they're sending their minions. Go, my minions. You know,
eight people just dropped out, so I don't know.
People naturally just got fed up, like you guys, and said, "Screw this."
Yeah, we created a
Mark Waid's comment from 2015. I recently shared in the Sports Book group talking about how this one guy said it's supposed to be John Byrne, so he's a fan thing, and it was talking about how if you don't understand that Clark Kent is not the mask, Superman's the mask, then you don't
that's
understand.
a whole other video.
No. So Mark Waid replies like, yeah, if you or Shyster and Sugar, whatever.
John Byrne says
and I was like,
but guys, you wanna know who sent people to call names in X, which used to be Twitter? The actual fandom guys. They sent people to call Robert and even called me on Twitter. One of these they called us fascist and other things like that. But that's because they are ridiculous people.
You're from Brazil, but they probably think you're from Italy. That's how stupid they are.
Actual fandom and the fandom initiative, they smell their own anal vapors and love it. It is just they're full of shit. Please, by all means, guys. This is if anybody who knows or talks to the actual fandom group, please make more videos. Do it. I could use the content. I will eat that and yeah, they are dumbasses. They are collectively one huge dumbass, but in all honesty, if you break them down Power Ranger style, and they're just a bunch of dumbasses. Okay, so let's see. But while trolls are a definite problem comic Twitter, other fans can usually ignore them. Comicsgate has its own corner of the internet, sometimes venturing out to complain about woke comics. Yes, those do actually exist. But they mostly stay in their bubble. As for fans harassing creators, most of the time everyone speaks out against them. It's not one. Now, I would like to know what the definition of harassment is, though. It's one thing not to like a creator's work and criticize his shortcomings, but it's another to go after creators personally. However, fans have to seek out the most negative voices on comics, and they're a problem, but only for people who want to interact with them. Once again, this can happen. Now, I'm not saying that there's no harassment. I've seen it. I did a video about Kelly Tran, the girl who played, Rose Tico in The Last Jedi. And some of the comments in my feed about her were vile. Not just racist or sexist, but flat out vile, like saying that she needed to be raped and she needed to be Oh, I'm sorry, graped, because we can't say the word rape. That's fucking stupid. But it was you do get that kind of stuff. But I've also seen where it's like, wow, you know what? This book, you're just going in the wrong direction. Blah blah blah. You're a racist. You Hitler and loved it. You know, they just go after you when they the comic book creators themselves say
Yeah,
this stuff.
I heard this week I cannot dislike Blue Beetle because I'm Latino and Blue Beetle is Latino, and apparently I'm not liking him because he's Jaime. He's not Ted Kord, and I always preferred Ted Kord in the JLI era. I cannot dislike Blue Beetle, but I don't never liked Jaime. I am a Ted Kord fan since I was a child.
You sir are literally Hitler, and not a real Latino person. So I just wanted to get that
guy
out
in the back. He's not real.
Yeah. The main problem with let's see, okay. The main problem with comics Twitter isn't the negativity, although that does come into play. There's nothing wrong with saying Amazing Spider-Man is lackluster. It sucks, dude. The real problem is that many fans say the Amazing Spider-Man is lackluster without ever actually reading it. Hey, thankfully I've read Spider-Man recently. It sucks, dude. Comics Twitter can be a paradoxal place because it houses a large contingent of users who don't read comics. Sometimes they're lapsed readers, but a sizable portion of comics Twitter has never read a comic in real life. Oh my gosh, I'm going to agree with this article. What do you have to say there, Eric?
Well, I was just going to say, you're talking about some of the things you were getting in your comments about Kelly Tran.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll find that regardless of what side of the fence you're on, when you see comments that vile, they tend to come from younger commenters, because we've had an entire generation now grow up online where when you don't interact face to face, and you never had to, you lose sight of what it's like to be human, to have humanity, to have empathy. So you tend to, like I said, like words are literally violence. You come back with you go from 0 to completely outraged faster than a Maserati. And again, it goes to, like I said, the people that have been around longer, that grew up face to face, talking to people, having to deal with people, they tend to be a little bit more measured in their criticism. But these people, and and they hate when I do this, but to say something that Richard used to say all the time: don't contact these people, because anything that's not effusive praise is considered an attack.
Yeah.
And that goes for the fools that write these articles, the fools that create these unsellable, unreadable comics. And because they've grown up being told how special they are, that everybody gets a trophy generation. You're the most specialist person ever.
It's the participation trophy generation.
And so, of course, any criticism is like violence to them. They've never heard any.
Let's see. We got these people are same sides, or the two sides of the same coin, says Undead Quinn. But Undead Quinn is also agreeing with me that comics is a race traitor. MARANYA saying, back when DNC was riding the Twitter train for content, some of his followers went out and provoked Patrick Zurcher for no good reason. And when he snapped at them, the trolls showed at DNC, and DNC used to do that as well. Obviously I don't think he's doing it anymore. It's just, he's not the only one. I saw a lot of people go out. They would say something, and when there was a response, they would say, "Hey, look what this person's saying to me," and such. So it's the same side. It is the same side of the coin that we usually complain about.
As Undead Quinn put it, Zurcher isn't immune from unprovoked attacks himself. When he wakes up on the wrong side of Twitter, he'll lash out at anybody, and then the next day he will sound like the most rational person you've ever seen. So I don't know who the real Patrick Zurcher is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing, when people have said, "Yeah, and your art sucks too," that's bullshit. He's a damn good artist. I don't care who he votes for or what he has said about me. That man can draw.
Hey, I did entire videos about one of the biggest legends of comics, and that's we used to do shit Neil Adams says, and the thing is he was a douchebag. He was a douchebag in every freaking measure of the word, in my opinion. Yet he's a legend, and I would never take that away. I would never actually try to. I would look stupid if I did.
Mark Waid is a prick, but his writing's been good.
He's one of the best writers since they got him off of Captain America. He's one of the best writers in comics right now.
Well, they got him off of Twitter too, which helps.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Comic companies are always looking for comic book movie synergy. Superhero movies are a multi-billion-dollar business, and one look at Twitter will show how huge the fandom is.
Okay, that's
comic Twitter is
that's bullshit.
Wait,
comic synergy, comics in cinematic synergy.
Okay. Let me finish the paragraph.
There's no sorry.
Yeah, let me finish the paragraph because it actually answers what you're about to say. Comic Twitter is dwarfed by comic movie Twitter, often shortened to CBM Twitter. I'd never heard these phrases, by the way. And there's a lot of interplay between the two. However, this rarely leads to movie fans becoming comic book readers. And the main reason for that is the way comic Twitter works. Yeah, there is not movie and comic book synergy unless they want to destroy the character for the movie.
So you're saying us comic book fans are dwarfed by Zack Snyder fans?
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
It's like
podcast or other social media sites to put out content about comics. They usually have a superhero profile picture. Their username will also have loves comics or reads comics in them, so posters know that they're comic fans. The biggest comic Twitter accounts have parlayed their Twitter fandom into podcasts. These influencers are known for giving their opinions on comics and creators, to the point that many of them basically synopsize story arcs. They'll post pictures, talk about stories, and how they feel about them, and tell their followers how they should. Nope, not this one. I know there might be some out there. I know I've never done that. I've always said, if you dislike something and I like it, my money was spent better. If the other way around, your money was spent better. Congratulations. Someone who loves Batman but has never read a comic can find Love's comic account talking about Batman's story, learn what they need to know about the story, and then never have to read the comic again. Or they can watch one of the many YouTube channels that synopsize stories, Rob, for Comics Explained.
Or Kiki Puppet Show for the back issues.
Yeah, you guys are reading the old comics. So yeah, if they want
to just mute us and read at your own pace.
I do the comic book origins in the first appearances sometimes. Oh my god, I just stubbed my toe on my desk. And then I also do the it really that good. So yeah, I'm not innocent of this, but usually there's commentary in there. I read the first appearance of characters, but I'll read it, and if there's something to be said, we'll say it. Like we did the bad comic beatdown on Hawk Woman or Girl or whatever it was. It's not like Comics Explained with Rob, where they just here's the whole story. You don't need to go out and buy the book.
Well, we read the full issue, but we're also ad-libbing a heck out of it too. So we're going by panel by panel. We're not showing
and you and I are all, except for of course the bad comic beatdown, are doing back issues. The Comic Explained, and they're like, here's that book that came out last week. So yeah.
Here's a quick problem with this. Go ahead, cartoon. Go ahead and do your, because you were trying to get in before, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think reading the history, it's something DC and Marvel should do. They should take some old comic book and they should put some voice actor or actual actor to read the comic. This would be good publicity for the comics, but they don't do this. Other YouTubers do. Maybe they should hire some big YouTube who do this and not pay an outside. They just put a giant Marvel and Disney logo. This is official. They are reading for us. Go and buy our comics. instead of we doing for their job. Where's the editorial of Marvel or the publicity of Marvel on there?
That's a good point. What were you going to say, Eric?
Listen, I'm not breaking any new grounds here. You guys have all heard me say this a multitude of times. The comic book readers and the movie goers are two different audiences.
Yeah.
The crossover comes, the comic book fans will go see the movies. The movie watchers will not pick up comics as a result because they see these larger than life, these CGI fests. They see things. It's three-dimensional. It's right there. It's real. The printed page is not going to do it for them. And if they do check it out, they go, okay, I've seen this. I saw this in the movie. On the other side, if you are a comic book fan, you love the fact that your characters now come to life. But if all of a sudden your comics that you've been reading all these years look just like the movies, you go, well, I've seen the movie too. And I like that they're two different things. I don't get that anymore. So it's lose-lose. We've been getting these movies for how many years now? And the comic book industry has never, nor will they ever figure that out. And I said, I've outlined a solution with the three. You have a movie line of comics, live action line, the regular comics as we know them, and then maybe a young readers line. And that's where you introduce your Miles Moraleses, your America Chavez's, your Kamala Khans. If they go over and people start noticing them in other genres, then like a minor league system in baseball, maybe you promote the characters to the next universe. But shoehorning all those characters into the regular universe at the same time you were trying to make it like the movies, and then you went from trying to make them like the movies to here come the legacy characters, sort of, kind of, and I said did irreparable damage to comics. And making them just like the movies, that's not going to work either.
I gotta give props to them for though, because there's more kids care more about video games than they care more about movies these days. They might see like, oh, Tom Holland, but they're like, here's a Spider-Man game or something like that. They're gonna go for that.
That's not going to lead to comic book readers.
No. But they are, unlike the movies and comic book crossover, they are trying to get kids in with the video game, like you said, that Gamerverse.
That you can do because both of them are, both of them move.
Put it.
They're exciting.
Do you remember when they used to like video games put like inserts in there instead of the cover, and you have like, oh, what's going on? You can put a little prequel comic book there and then check out more. Check out your local comic book store or Marvel.com, whatever, and then something to get you into comic books.
You have to hook people that like to read.
That's the thing. We comes out of society where they'd rather have TV.
Right, like, I understand.
I guess it started made
it even that. Let me say one thing. Manga, every anime before and during has a commercial from Giant Shueisha commercial there. Go to your app and read the next chapter of this manga. It's good publicity to have this, but I don't see Marvel or DC doing. I saw in Disney Plus, believe it or not, for buy comic books from them.
I said that. I've been saying that since I started the channel,
but I never saw anymore.
If you have a movie, why are you not? I mean, the companies do big events every year, so at the very least, Blue Beetle, Flash, they should have had. Go to your comic shop and search out Night Terrors. They should have had that kind of thing coming up, or this is we're starting a Blue Beetle comic. Go buy that kind of thing. So let me continue the article here. It says someone who loves Batman has never read a comic can find a Loves Comic account talking about Batman. Learn. Okay, I said that. Where are we going? They don't have to dig into Golden Age DC and Marvel. They can just find accounts of posters who talk about them. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. In theory, a fan community should have ways for new fans to enter and learn information easily. However, one can argue that comics Twitter makes it too easy because there are more comic fans who don't actually read comics now than ever before. So A social media analyst could look at how many interactions a topic like DC Comics is getting. DC recent awards and sales successes are topics of conversation on Comics Twitter. However, the amount of people actually reading and buying DC Comics on Twitter is much smaller than the overall interactions. The blame for comic movie synergy and the reason it fails is comic Twitter. A company like Disney looks at sites like Twitter and after seeing how many people are talking about Marvel, thinks that MCU fans are open to liking comics. However, by merely being on comics Twitter, a movie fan never needs to read a comic. I have not experienced this, but there you go. Apparently, DC Comic Awards are being talked about. Did anybody know about this? Am I so out of comic Twitter now? I've been by the way, I'm blocked by most comic book artists and writers, and I apologize for someone who is blocked because they use blockchains and say "fuck you, fans," and they take away all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, it doesn't help that comics aren't made to be collected anymore either.
That is true. They're not.
$5 a pop, relaunches after 12 issues. Yep. DC at least keeps their books going for some of them going for a while, but I said they can't get out of there. They can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. But I said there's too many problems to fix at this point. There really
does seem that way.
Yeah.
Can I just give a props? Meet the Bozo's been with us this whole entire time, just putting out random stuff. I mean, devoted to your bit here. Thank you for the viewing. I mean, I can't tell if it's a troll or not, or it's just Rhaegar. This is point. You've been here so long. All the time. I'm thinking like,
hey, I appreciate the chat, but you know, is this really live? Not used to Englantine and Eric being up this late. Yeah, it is. It is actually live. There you go.
These are animatronic.
I used to do random live streams whenever the mood hit me, and I guess I was up for it again. So,
now, MK, a lot of times he'll say, "Why doesn't Eric come on these things anymore?" So once in a while, I like to show up and surprise them. I say, "Hey, I'm not dead yet."
Yeah. There you go. The shops are closing, converting. It's getting harder and harder to find physical comics in the wild, says Dave Asanowitz. And yeah. It is live. Ugly. This was a premiere for a second. Oh no, we're actually live. Maranya saying Marvel Comics and DC Comics do not promote their comic book lines equally on Twitter. They promote check boxes and books. Yeah, absolutely. And ignore solid books like Jeremy Adams, Flash, Green Lantern, books that don't check the boxes. The best books on the market are generally written by older people continuing older storylines. One of the most anticipated cartoons is X-Men 97.
Yes. Yeah, this stream is live, but we are dead inside.
There you go.
DC tolerates Jeremy Adams for the time being.
Yes. I've yawned twice.
I'm still alive. For new fans, first venturing into the wild of comics Twitter, or someone with Love Comics in their name, feels like someone to listen to, so they listen. However, okay, really, they do, because they are often using these accounts in lieu of reading comics. They never really form their own opinions on a comic or a company. Wow, now he's smacking down people who are looking like he's really taking you guys out. A prominent Love Comics account can, for example, say like DC Comics doesn't have enough series with female leads. Says nobody ever. In comparison to Marvel accusing DC of sexism. No, we don't talk about that. We tell you to shut up about that shit. We don't need to know. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have this book out. Okay, what's it about? Well, they're gay.
Harley Quinn and Ivy, they're gay.
No,
that's it. There's nothing else.
You messed up the point. Let me try it again. Don't say anything. What's the story about? Well, they're gay.
Yeah, it's like Harley Quinn.
It doesn't work if you talk. Point being is
it does work. You said it twice now. We don't care.
The only thing is that they come out and the only story bit now is that we race swapped. We made somebody gay. We did that. There's no fucking story being promoted anymore. So anywho, let me continue here.
Yep.
In lieu of they never really formed blah, blah, blah. They don't necessarily have to give examples. Just make, okay, wait a second. A prominent Love Comics account can, for example, say something like DC doesn't have enough series with female leads. Nope. They don't necessarily have to give examples. Just make blanket statements, except for they do, dumbass. And they usually manage to put their finger on partial truth. DC usually has more ongoing series starring women at any given. Who's making that argument that you're talking about? Show me the freaking comics gator that's going, you know what we're missing? More diversity.
Well, I mean, for a while there was no comics and women in comics. Remember?
Oh yeah. Joe Duffy's never existed. By the way, Joe Duffy's not a dude, dumbasses. Jeanette Kahn never existed.
It says Mary Joe Duffy.
Right. Let's see. DC usually has more on starring women, and Marvel has more miniseries and team books. So the statement is true and false, but it lacks. You're fucking out of your gourd, you dumbass. Oh my gosh. You know, normally you're supposed to say, don't go and get them. However, the parasocial relationship between Love Comics influencers and audiences makes it so the audience no longer looks for the influencers into the influencer's claim. The influencer has cultivated a relationship with their audience to keep them coming back, and eventually becomes the gate the audience gets their information through. If one influencer then works with several others, banding together as a podcast for a team, for example, they could create an entire fandom that is ostensibly, about comics, but is really about their opinions on comics. What? A podcast about with people who are giving their opinions? It's about their opinions? Oh my gosh. That's
but if
it's not a bunch of robots reading. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
But oh my gosh, if it's The Wire from Sci-Fi, oh, they're allowed to give theirs. If it's CBR doing an interview with, they're allowed to, because they're official shills.
Marvel accused DC of sexism, or is that what this dude's projecting in the article? I don't know what this guy's talking about anymore.
He doesn't either.
Looking around comics Twitter, there's a lot of this groupthink mentality, and entire blocks of comic Twitter fans often share the same opinion. Is it that modern comics suck? Maybe the people who write and draw comics say, yeah, I know, right?
Remember, kid,
and you're right.
We have a rule. We don't have to say something sucks. You tell me why it sucks.
Okay. For example, fans can see this whenever Batman memes make the rounds on Twitter. Batman is a complicated character, and there's an entire anti-Batman fandom out there that exists for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's warranted. For example, when DC publishes way too much Batman in comparison to other more deserving characters. Sometimes it's not, like when an influencer makes a meme about Batman being a billionaire who puts up poor people with mental issues. Anyone who reads Batman comics knows that Bruce Wayne does everything within his power to help the poor in Gotham, but suddenly a million people who don't read comics. Now that's actually a comics gate, and by that I mean everybody, the Black Pills comics gate, everybody on this side of the culture war argument has made that argument. This guy is slapping us with our own arguments and saying we're wrong. He is. That's what we say. And he's, you guys don't say this, huh? Oh, you say this, huh? And this dude's a fucking dumbass. There are just a few examples of the problems on comic Twitter, but they're endemic across the platform. Influencer culture has spread into comics. Comics influencers are creating an entire generation of comics fans who don't buy comics. I would like to, I want to see receipts on this. Now, I get it. Okay.
The comic book industry has created a generation of people who don't buy comics. Sorry.
Yes, it was the editor of both Marvel and DC who did this. It wasn't us.
Yeah.
We are the canary in the coal mine, and they're blaming us for the coal miners dying.
It's very much true there.
Bad. Batman is a billionaire that beats up people with mental issues. Wow, it's true, but it's so reductive. Well, You just let that guy who calls himself the Joker. I know he's very special. Just let him.
Yeah.
Just needs understanding.
Let him murder a bunch of
him,
babies.
Let him murder the elder lady, only trying to get to the other side of the street.
Okay,
to make a point.
Joker just kill babies because it's okay. It's okay. You know,
this article is already pretty long.
Guys.
And this right here, this entire thing is the same thing he set up here, where it's like, but they don't have to read comics now. When a big event like Fall of X happens, comic Twitter comes alive with excitement. You listen to what the people are saying, dude. That book was a ball suck.
Dave already pointed out earlier. Dave pointed out the real reason why kids are not reading physical media, because they have laptops in school. They have tablets. They don't even have textbooks anymore.
Yeah,
reading is dead, and they'd rather watch YouTube videos of someone playing a video game.
See my part about comics not being collectible anymore.
Yeah, I would believe in you guys if I didn't see my niece buying 50 volumes of The Last Breaker, all physical, and spend half the money of her birthday gift on that. Breaker is a manga.
Yeah. Okay, it's a genuinely fun place to be. It's great to share love of something. Comics Twitter often acts like virtual comic store, where a bunch of fans get together and talk about comics at every level. It allowed the fan community to grow and evolve. It made it more inclusive too, letting new fans learn what they need to know and find their niche with a greater comic fan community. By the way, that's what you can do with Geeky Puppet Show. That's what you can do with my comic book origins, or I guess I should get back to it. Comic books were better videos, where I would talk about, look, modern comics suck, but look at the great books of the 90s. I actually did a comic books were better in the 2010s to point out that, yes, there are good books out there. I could do one for the 20s now to point out the fact that there are some good books that are coming out. It's just they're buried by the, hey, we just made this character that you've loved for 30 years gay because representation. Well, here's the thing. You've got enough. All right? Steer the boat in the other direction, because as Richard did point out, comic books are now a gay bar. That's just how it's been. Okay, there's toxicity, but it's impossible to find a corner of the internet free from toxic discourse. However, some comic Twitter strengths have created a fan culture that relies on unreliable authorities for their fandom. Social media accounts that make comics simple for people are great, but the best ones don't synopsize. They share their love and make material accessible without simply describing the material ad nauseum. Unfortunately, nearly the entire ecosystem of love comics, I want to know what he's talking about, who he's talking about, and read comic accounts consists of people who synopsize everything and put their personal spin on it. That's what makes it different. Okay. One thing I will give to Rob. All right. Rob is Comics Explained. He'll tell the story, and he will tell you the entire story. But what he'll do is he'll get to a point and he'll be like, okay, well, right here, you see Superman, he's coming into red kryptonite. Red kryptonite has been around since blah, 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 and it does this to Superman, that to Superman, and then he'll move forward. So he will add those little footnotes sometimes.
Doesn't he also blur the books, too?
He does. No.
He's doing in trouble, I guess.
Let's see. Consists of synopsis, personal spin on it, which then become the spin for legions of fans. This has spawned entire zombie fan communities where there's no discussion or diversity of opinions. They create parasocial relationships so that they're the only ones their fans trust. Bullshit. Right. There's no one who does not worship the sun who isn't looking up the YouTube channel Sun Worshippers. That's the way it happens. A channel grows because they tend to be saying the same thing that the viewer is saying. It makes the viewer feel, look, I'm not alone in this. I think this way too. Maybe the viewer will then start their own YouTube channel. Some people don't. Some people aren't public speakers. And some people just don't have the freaking time. But they do like listening to things. I've learned from you guys that a lot of you listen rather than watch a lot of the videos. So you're driving in the car or you're doing something else. Tim Lim listens in, the awesome guy I believe I saw at my local Chinese restaurant just the other day, who who draws.
That was Ron.
That was okay. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, but he does Common America, and he'll listen in. Hey, I'm working. I'm going to listen to my YouTube channel. People do this a lot, you know, and they do it because you're somebody who agrees with them. Maybe you're putting a spin on it. Maybe you're pointing out something they didn't notice, you know, and that's how it works. You're not getting people who randomly go, you know what? I'm just going to, you know, you're getting people who tend to agree with you in somewhat, or maybe disagree and want to argue that point.
Confirmation bias. That's what people want.
Yeah, confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Let me get some comments. I apologize.
I'm not gonna tune into someone who says, "Oh, I love Zeb Wells and I love Norman Osborn being a mentor to Peter Parker."
I will, because that's content. Because you know, it's like I will occasionally go over to if I think I want to do an EFAP. I'm feeling kind of salty. I will go to actual fandom, or I'll talk
phrasing.
I said EFAP,
and then you're feeling kind of salty.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, before you take some comments, can you promise to vote for Bill Rhodey so he'll go away?
Who?
I don't know, but I didn't know who he was until I came in the stream. Now I know he's running for the mayor of Miami Beach or something. His stupid campaign thing keeps popping up all over this.
Oh, is it on the is it on the CBR thing?
It's come out at the top right hand corner and in the little box there under the. It's a.
Oh, I don't pay attention to the advertisement.
I guarantee it's not a Republican either. I've noticed on Twitter.
I don't think a Republican would be advertising on CBR. You're right there.
Well, apparently this is Walmart. Yeah, actually, Walmart owes me money for how many times these things have popped up. Let's see. What is an anti-Batman fan? The people writing Batman comics. This whole lot is light BS. The comic industry shot itself in the foot. But I blame the reader, says Undead Quinn. And I can see that because they only go by what they sell. Question: has the Joker actually killed babies in any of the comics? I don't know if he's killed them. I know definitely in No Man's Land he held a whole bunch of them hostage and threatened. Robert Crumb give him a case of the screaming memes.
I thought he killed them when he killed Barbara's mom. Didn't he do that?
When he's mass murdering, I'm sure some kids have gotten caught in the crossfire.
I'm pretty sure the gas, the Joker gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rhaegar saying actually Englantina might be more appropriate these days to do comic book eulogies because a lot of these characters are dead in spirit. Actually, the writers. I've got a good way to do this, and I've got a bad way. I'm not bad way, but a critical way. One of the videos I talked to Eric about doing. So if you guys want to come up with some examples, maybe this Friday we could do this. Is where did that character end, like properly? The main example I would use is Kraven's Last Hunt, the Spider-Man story. That would have been the perfect time. Never see Kraven again. That ended it perfectly. Where do you think superheroes or villains had their perfect ending? We'll talk about it on Friday. Bring your examples. And the other way would be, when did this book become creatively bankrupt and now it's just repeating itself? Let's see. I'll sub. I listen to stuff as I toss ink around. Well, thank you, Mute the Boss. Comics Explained. Doesn't he just read to you the comic book? Yeah, that's what they're talking about. He's yeah, that's it. Red Kryptonite sounds badass. It is. It does whatever it wants to Superman. Praise the sun. If you get the reference, I salute you.
Technically, if it was a Comic Explained video, you know, or a lifestyle, you would never. You just see the article. You wouldn't see us whatsoever, and you just go through it. 15 minutes, done. Boom.
Even black pills like me, says Rhaegar, come here. These guys aren't so bad, and we do have our own black pill. He's not here today, but
I didn't know that Rhaegar is black. But he is just like a pill. He's making me ill.
Kirby was a bit of a curmudgeon. If it was good enough for him, it's good enough for me. I'm getting flashbacks of Mike Bloomberg ads now, Breen. Thanks a lot.
Bloomberg television.
put Bill Rhodey up there.
There you go. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, who's crazier, Joker or Carnage? Crazier or more evil, Joker or Carnage? I would say Joker. I would put Joker on that one. I mean, Cletus Cassidy, I guess, you know, he was in jail for it, but we've seen Joker be more psychotic in the years since. All right, let's see where Twitter's made of fans don't read. No, that matters. The influencers will never tell their fans to read a book, of course. Wait, what? This guy's out of his fucking gourd. I really want to debate this guy now. Or admit that the problem exists until the fandom starts their out on their own and read stories. They think they know the problem is going to get worse. Twitter doesn't have to stay. I think he's full of shit. In all honesty, I don't think he has pot to piss in on this one.
That last part, though, there are some that they will read it and people hang on their every single word. There are not everybody, but there are people that will listen to. If someone says, someone says this, we saw this. I've seen this. I've seen the EVS worship. But I'm just saying that everyone that watches EVS is like that, though.
Well, that's the cult of personality. I've always discouraged the cult of personality, and that is that I want to hear your opinion. As a matter of fact, I've earlier in the channel, Diversity in Comics, Richard, now it's your boy Zach, was huge, and I would get comments. Well, Zach says, or at the time it was DNC says. And I would say, I know. I watch Richard's videos. I want to know what you think. Don't tell me what he thinks. Don't just, resuscitate other people's opinions. I want to know what you think on this subject. Sometimes people get pissed because I said that.
I'm just glad he chose, because he went for your boy, Richard. His name's Richard. I'm glad he went with Zach and not Dick.
Yeah, and I've been waiting 6 years since you did that to me to give you the what for.
What? For what? For what?
Oh, you were one of the ones I said, I want to hear your opinion.
You jumped down my throat one night.
Oh, yeah? Sorry.
Whoa.
I must have been sugar and balance.
Well,
hey, you know what? And for the last, what has it been, 6 years? For the last 6 years, I've given you a freaking place to give your opinion all the time. So
it's
actually, I hear that he's been doing that with a few other guys, so.
Yeah, and I'm jealous.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about you. You ever since I gave you a platform, you've kind of hoard yourself out to everybody's channel now. So
I saw them on Perch. They were eating Arby's.
There you go. Alrighty. There you go. Rhaegar was also bred in circumstances. The classic Star Trek episode. They spoke of sun worshippers, where they revealed later to be sun worshippers, aka Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say real quick, you talk about Ethan as cult of personality. Mm-hmm. I agree, he has created one, and there are people that I'd say a large percentage of his, the people that are supporting Cyberfrog probably weren't comics fans to begin with. Just like some of the people buying ISOM, they're buying an ideal. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because, I mean, they agree with him philosophically and probably politically as well. And if you agree with Ethan politically, it's hard to find a home in comics. You have to be a lifer to have continued with comics to this point, like you and I, E. Yeah. Because, despite, to a point, because they finally pushed us away. But it's so hard to keep supporting the big two when not. It's one thing when we were younger readers, we didn't agree with the writers politically, but it didn't manifest itself in the comics. And you can talk about comics being political, and yes, they were, but they were more subtle. Mm-hmm. It was left to you to decide for yourself. That's no longer the case. They tell you what side they're on and what side you better be on, or you're not going to have a home here. And they've made it, and for a while, that's you can ride that because they're still your characters, but you can only have so many years of Spider-Man being absolutely shit on before what's the Tom Petty album title? Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. And that's that way with just about all the characters of the big two now.
Yep.
Even if you are a quote-unquote minority, if you don't agree with them, they call you a villain, and that's it. They completely alienate you, and they don't care about you. You are one of the bad guys.
Now, Maranya said there are certain comic book channels that take 1 or 2 panels out of context that look woke and then claim that the whole book is woke. See the infamous Zdarsky Bruce kissing a guy.
Yellow Flash.
Yeah, that was the Knight, Batman, the Knight Order is.
And that, by the way, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say the whole context. Yeah, goes on context is that Bruce was competing for this ledger, and he's speaking to the guy. He knew that the guy that was training with him was into him, so he didn't kiss him. He leaned in and did the sleight of hand, and then like it's my book.
But here's I'm going to play devil's advocate, I guess, for lack of a better term. When we know what the basically the main purpose of modern comics is to advance.
Sure.
If you can see something like that, jump to the wrong conclusion, but you're a content creator and you can get, a 6-figure view count by calling attention to it, you're going to do it. And there's a chance you may end up being right because, like I said, make no mistake, if they could get away with it, Batman would be gay. Grant Morrison tried to do it 25 years ago with Batman and Superman. They said, no, that's how we got Apollo and Midnighter. They are Batman and Superman.
The pregnant Joker book thing when he wasn't even pregnant.
That was people taking something and running with it.
Yeah, but
again, but like I said, here's the thing. Just like you don't have to watch something, you don't have to watch. You could just turn the channel. Works for television. It works for YouTube channels. Getting bent out of shape about it doesn't do anybody any good.
That's kind of antithesis of what we do around here. We get bent out of shape, we talk. There are videos, of course, we do that with. Yeah. I will go after every actual fandom video that talks about how horrible we are. Well,
I'd rather get bent out of shape over something that happens between the pages of a comic book, not between the minutes of a YouTube video.
So I want to point out something. The whole Robertson Pattinson thing. Remember the one little line there that the mayor says to him in the church? I forgot what the line is, but everybody was so like, "Oh, it's such a woke movie" because that one little line.
No, it was Catwoman. She says something about the patriarchy, and then it's like one line.
Imagine if that. Because we're talking about how Blue Beetle, how it kind of bombed because he had F Batman, he's a fascist. Imagine if they would have took that line, with Catwoman said about Batman, put it in the Batman movie. I wonder if the Batman movie would have bombed too.
The Blue Beetle bombed because normies don't know who he is, and that universe he's a part of has been basically canceled, and it shouldn't matter, but they've created these worlds where it does, and it's sort of there's
and they choose the wrong Blue Beetle.
There's other factors into it, but I'm just saying I'm curious how much back then, because people will not watch movies. My brother he heard that somebody said, Catwoman said something about the Batman. Wow, I'm not gonna watch it. It's a whole woke movie. He wrote it up. He still today.
But here's the thing, though: the people that make these decisions, they plant those. They're trying to get a reaction. More often than not, it might, they might lose a couple people, but I don't think it affects the bottom line that much. Perfect example, Captain Marvel. I realized it was between 2 Avengers movies, but there were a lot of people convinced that movie was going to bomb because of, her, the way she was acting on social media. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen. But now it's 5 years later, the quality of Marvel movies have dipped. And somebody, if she went out there and did the same thing, and then they released Captain Marvel, it probably would hurt it, but not to the degree to where, eventually, like I said, the bloom comes off the rose when you see 4 or 5 years of movies that just aren't as much fun as the ones that they were cranking out before.
Yeah, the one movie I'm actually looking forward to seeing is the Aquaman 2 movie because the whole thing I never heard. I want to see how much they cut, and I'm just curious because I did like the first movie.
I love it.
Even I still like it. Even the fact that what she did, took a crap in the guy's bed. I don't care. I wasn't the guy.
Not in the movie.
Okay, here's if they cut her part way down, but still use a few scenes of her, that's just dumb. I mean, if she's going to be in the movie, I want to look at her.
Yeah,
because she was good in that movie.
She was.
But and I said, I mean, I hate the fact that she gets a pass, and Johnny Depp lost all of his gigs, and here I am defending a guy that was on stage in Paris, musing if he could get away with killing President Trump, and he's the good guy.
He's also the guy
Yeah.
He's also the guy got in a lot of disorderly conduct.
Both.
So,
by the way, if you didn't see the new, or I guess it's been out for a while. It's on HBO Max now. If you haven't seen Shazam: Power of the Gods, they actually call Shazam Captain Marvel in that movie.
It was the actor from the series.
The kid from the guy kid. He's like 60 now. The guy from the old TV show that I watched.
He doesn't say the full word though. He says Captain Marvel, and then it gets cut off.
He does. I thought he said. I guess that's the what is that the Barbara Streisand effect? Because I heard it and I thought he said the whole thing.
Just like you never heard Cap till later on. See Avengers Assemble. Remember got cut off the first time.
Yeah, right. No, I knew that got cut off. So,
because then Mark Waid copied that joke in the Shazam book he's doing. They call names, call me Captain, and it's got cut off too. Getting there too.
I heard Snow White is delayed because I've heard that too. They delayed the Snow White movie because of the controversy.
No, they delayed the official. It's because of the writer strike, but I think it's also because of the controversy.
No, there you go.
Somebody shared a meme about like how these women are like always jealous of the other woman's duty, and they're showing like Snow White and stuff, and like how like what was the last one they had with what's her name that was in Atomic Blonde,
Charlize Theron.
Remember she was jealous. She was jealous of Kristen Stewart's beauty. I'm thinking like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, how are these people, these actresses that are supposed to be the evil queens,
mirror on the wall? Who's the fairest of them all? Yeah, if you're telling me Kristen Stewart is better looking than Charlize Theron, get a new mirror. It's broken. It's
the mirror is wrong, guys.
Rachel Ziegler, she's a good looking kid. I think she's like 20 now. She's a good looking kid. But mirror on the wall, is it me or Gal Gadot? It ain't you, Rachel. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Like, I love how like so many people will wait till after like something like is over to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I hated working on that. It was a nightmare and stuff." Like, yeah, you continued working on it because you wanted the paycheck. So shut the hell up. That was a girl from Modern Family came out and Entertainment released a tweet saying, she's the one that has the. She's supposed to be the pretty one. Always with the high heels. She was the older sibling.
Mm-hmm.
And she said
she actually had multiple sclerosis or something.
She had gout, and she said they forced her to wear heels in the beginning stuff.
Oh,
she was pissed off about that. But I'm like, but you kept working though. You could have easily said, you know what?
Yeah, and I said not you. Yeah, I brought up Charlize Theron. Yeah, I said what an absolutely disgusting person she is.
Yeah,
well, try to find somebody in Hollywood these days. It's like they're few and far between.
No, but adopting two boys and turning them into girls, that was
horrible. Yes.
Yeah, that's like Dwayne Wade level awful. Turn your son into a daughter.
Who's cuter to you? MK is asking, Englentine, curious. Who's cuter to you? That girl who's younger than your daughter, or the girl who's even younger than that? Look, okay. Look, I can look at a picture. I can look at a picture, and I can see. Okay, they're pretty is fine, but I'm sorry, but I'm not wired that way.
I can easily say it without any hint of sexuality, creepiness. I'll just say, but go with personality. I mean, if Rachel Zegler was her character like she was in the Shazam 2, yeah, she's a lot more prettier than she is now when she's spouting off like all this feminism bullshit. Jenna Ortega, I've never heard anything bad about her. You know,
they said
it's no different than the Ariana Grande effect. You know. Once you do something like lick freaking donuts and say F America, you lose out.
I think Jenna Ortega is not. I mean, she's kind of like she kind of speaks out against that stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah, she did. She was talking about guys get to work, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. I guess
Jenna Ortega said, "Get a paycheck and shut up."
Yeah, I guess.
Andrew, what the hell?
I guess, you know, I don't know. Ortega, I guess, is because Rachel's got an eyebrow thing. But there you go.
How old is he? Actually, I want to see how old she actually is, Ortega.
They're freaking kids. One's like 20 and the other's what?
Yeah, Ortega's 20. Ed Brewer is drunk because he just said what he said. Yeah. I just want to make sure that he knows it's gay, because in case you know, it's like you turn out, oh shit, she's 17. FBI did not release that. Delete.
Now, trust me, you younger folks in the audience, you do reach a point where you can say, yeah, she's cute, but that's all the thought you put into it, because by that time you've either got adult children or adult nieces, and you just don't. You just change the way you think. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, or you're a fucking creep.
My oldest niece is 20. So the same age, so it's like,
you're all, yeah, but
you're says that 17 is okay.
I just heard that song the other day too.
In Kip we trust. We've been wrong all along.
She's only 17, but she gives me love like a born queen.
And Brian Setzer too.
What is sexy and 17? Yeah, I know.
And if we want to go even younger, Ringo Starr.
Oh, no.
Oh, 16. Yeah, right. 16, right? That was the Beatles one.
Wait, I thought that was
she was only 16.
That's right.
That was Steve Tyler.
What Aerosmith song? Because Beatles was something. What song was it that mentioned she was 16?
Oh God,
he was just 17.
No, that was 7. Yeah, she was 17. But there was also a 16 one too. Yeah.
God damn, rock stars, freaking reel that pedo shit in.
Yeah, Billy Hunter Biden. Just put it on a laptop.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's okay to sniff 12-year-olds. It's not. No. That it is presidentially okay to sniff 12-year-olds. Ever listen to Bee Gees, like how they had Darker Depressing Phase? Bee Gees are fucking brilliant. Okay, I did not think that when I was a kid, but I got to tell you something. Gail is a fan, and we've been to the what is it, a Bee Gees cover band. We've got albums, we've got the songs.
Yeah,
Bee Gees are a freaking awesome band.
One of the best debuts in the history of music.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, you can't change my mind on that. It has been changed into it. Your 16 is by Ringo Starr in his solo years, says, and Ziegler is 22. My daughter's 27. Just I don't see, you know. I mean, if you're talking about which one's prettier and you take out any kind of sexuality, it's like a picture. I can say Jenna Ortega. I think actually she is. I think Rachel, she's pretty. But she's got the eyebrows, and you know.
Gail must be sleeping.
Well,
no, Gail can hear me. But you know, once again,
right now Rachel Ziegler's biggest problem is under her nose, because it keeps opening up and words keep coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's part of it too. She's just been acting like a bitch. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Barry's the only one left. Yeah. Did you see the Bee Gees biography? And he's a sad man, dude. He really is. Ever listen to the Bee Gees, like how they? Oh yeah, okay, I read that one. Roman Polanski also liked him. Roman Polanski I got to tell you, a while back, I think it was the Academy gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mm-hmm.
And you had people like Whoopi Goldberg saying, well, it wasn't rape. Bullshit. He walks at an after party. People are, he goes, or at a party, he goes to a 13-year-old girl. He took down her pants. He put himself inside of her and pumped until he blew a load of semen inside of her without her consent or knowledge because she was out on drugs. I'm sorry. That's fucking rape.
These are
And
the same.
it wasn't rape because he, it wasn't a violent thing.
These are the same people that took that conversation recorded in Billy Bush's trailer as a reason to disqualify a man from basically being able to live, let alone run for office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
But
look
again, so
stories.
yeah. Oh, you have kept me up way past my bedtime, sir.
I kept myself up way past my bedtime, and
Congratulations, guys.
So, yeah, I made it to 2:00. I can't believe it.
All righty. But there you go, guys. I guess we're gonna leave off on this creepy freaking note.
It feels like a Saturday night auction back in 2019.
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago when we could stay up.
Well, COVID
I
is coming
appreciate this,
back.
guys, because like I said, this was really to get my mind off of things for a little while. Thank you.
You don't want to end on a Roman Polanski and Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. No. We're gonna end on Roman Polanski committed rape. We're gonna stop it right
don't
there.
end on my
Somebody
account.
click him saying that so we can add that over.
I actually want to go and try to convince my lovely wife
to make you a sandwich.
Can go to the Wawa and get me a sub?
that actually might be a good thing. No, not for her to go to, but I'll do the drive. I would love to go together though. But yeah, I need to convince her.
She drives. I'll sit in the passenger seat.
Let's end on a happy note.
Yes.
Okay. Love me some Bob Ross, says Ed Brewer. But by the way, there's a good movie starring Owen Wilson as a Bob Ross figure. That's
Paint.
Yeah, Paint. I watched it. It's pretty cool. Ending on a happy note. Here's one. Nobody bought these at the auction. Now I get to keep them. That's a happy note, and I will. What's going on that's positive? Tomorrow, I guess we're going to do this again. And then
you are.
I am. Okay. No, I'm not doing it so late. We're going to do a regular live stream, maybe at 8 or 9 o'clock. Excuse me, 9 o'clock. Tuesday we have VENKMAN. He's going to be over at Geeky Puppet Show doing Geeky Puppet Show things.
8 p.m. Talking about new comics come out the week. I follow up on Thursday, same time. But at 10:30 Tuesday nights, I know Comics Marvel RPG hosted by MARANYA.
Which, by the way, guys, the views are going up. I mean, it went from like 80 to 100 and 110, but the views are going up. So.
It's just weird. As soon as you stop appearing on the stream,
I know, right? But I will say, and I said it last week, I'll say it again. Shorten the words on the screen, put them with a border so you can actually read what's being written. That's the only thing I would say.
I started using sign language.
It's thumbnails. Yeah, I mean they're awesome because you got this black spot, you got Marvel, and then you've got this great image, but it becomes crowded when you put the words all over the image and everything. Just saying. Okay.
If I can show something real quick.
By all means.
Micah released a video today, and it was basically to the tune of the $6 Million Man theme.
Mm-hmm.
Only it was him recovering from his injury, and you have the scene where Steve Austin's like running. It has him from the waist down hobbling in his walking boot, and but it's a very funny video. But it looks like 2 weeks from he didn't put that in there. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But it looks like 2 weeks from Wednesday, the hiatus is over, and barring any complications, the fossils will be back.
Ooh, cool. Also, probably on Thursday, gonna do some sort of comic book box thing, showing off the auction and all that kind of stuff. Because I've got 2 short boxes and a whole bunch of, probably end up being $5 books. Yeah, because I messed up. I went for War Comics and I put Warlord. I'm not putting down the series. It's a good series, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Haunted Tank and GI Combat and Unknown Soldier. So, yeah, but please, by all means, check that out. And there we go. That's the week. And you guys really helped out. This will be the happy note I'm going to leave on. Sad things are happening in the family. You guys gave a little reprieve. We got to yell at a dumbass. We got to tell jokes. It's awesome. Thank you for being there in a time of need. It is
that joke that keeps on giving.
There you go. Thank you.
I feel like the Golden Girls theme should start playing in the background now.
Yeah, I'm being cheesy.
And let me give you a message for everyone. Remember to like, subscribe, and go to the other channels and subscribe and like the videos.
There you go.
Yeah. Remember
that's also a good note.
Like and subscribe, and just keep watching Geeky Puppet Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty, kids. Thanks for hanging out with us. Is the Haunted Tank like Thomas the Tank Engine? And no, it actually is. When Thomas the Tank Engine died, it's about after that.
Yeah, so. It's like a Casper hot stuff thing there.
Right. It's not about a Confederate soldier who took over a tank and now winning the war for them.
I gotta ask though, when you were down at the hospital, did you stop at the gift shop and get that shirt?
Wow. There are 10 ways I can tell you to go fuck yourself, starting with A. This is actually a gift from my wife.
Does it come with the magic white hat, the bucket hat?
This is a gift from my wife. Thank you very much, because she knows, of course, Twiddles usually hangs on the shoulder. The thing is that I'm a 2X and she bought 3X, so it does swim on. I will say this. This is one hell of a freaking comfortable shirt. And so I walk out, it looks like I'm wearing a muumuu, but it is freaking comfortable. You know, there's something to be said for those things, because it
looks like you fell into a tropical fish tank.
These are birds, by the way. You can see
there's so much blue, and then you see like the birds drowning in the water.
Gail, you know, I also have that black shirt with the little parrots. Gail does steer into the bird thing, and it's awesome. I love it, by the way. Yeah. And Gator Jerky is Maranya's a reminder. This is going to be a 40-minute goodbye, isn't it? The senior.
No.
B. Arthur got my blood flowing. Betty White got her free. No, actually, that's true. We did a Betty White first appearance in comics. We did a reading of that. Betty White, she was a bit of a go around when she was younger.
So you know you're getting older when you see a Golden Girls rerun. You go, yeah, I'd probably do 2 of them.
You're like, wow, she was so hot back then.
I'll leave it to you to figure out which 2.
Ethereal Gail is going to come and start
guessing
yelling at
it was got to be the mom on the show, right?
Oh my gosh, are we really? Okay, we talked about Jenna.
No,
and,
we're not.
Rachel.
I stole
Now
that
we're
from
talking
Super
about the
70
Golden
Sports.
Who's the hottest Golden Girl?
I mean, B.
Arthur
Arthur when she was on the Star Wars special.
No, there you go. Yeah, during the Star Wars special era. Yeah. Can we go Betty White on the Mary Tyler Moore show? What are we doing here with a Golden
No, but I'll
Girl?
tell you what, when she was the young congresswoman on Advise and Consent, we can definitely do that.
You know?
All right.
If you talk about how hot Betty White was, Gail can't be jealous, right?
What? She was 40.
All righty, guys. We're ending it here. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night, kids.